So our expression inside of here is only going to be able to match what it defines. It can only match one method in our application. Realistically, we want to modify this to make this more generic, since we will have multiple other Pointcut expressions to work with. So inside of here we can see that we get all of the methods inside of here, and then we have our item right here. So we're getting all of our method returns inside of item in the item.java, and then we have this right here. So this is going to be our new what we have to do to make it more generic, right? This gets everything inside of here. Our previous one was very it was like this. It was very, very locked down, where we had to get the exact method .print item details. But this one, we have the star, it gets everything inside of this class right here. We don't have to get everything inside of this exact method. So that's important to note. That's a change that we just made. So that's how we would do that. And now that it is like that, we can still run it and see that it still works. So if we run it like this, we are going to see that we actually hit a breakpoint, because I accidentally ran it as a breakpoint, but it's going to print out here as well. So we're getting the item being 1, we get this item was created, and then we are going to print these details as well. We can see that we get our logo right here for both of them. There is a slight difference though. This item2 string, we are getting the item, we are getting the logo right here, and then we're getting the item that we created. When we do the print item details, notice, remember we call the logo first. Inside of our print details, we are going to have this time, and then we are going to have this item part right here. So that's the only difference. Now, another way we can tailor this is by putting private and or voids inside of here. So let's say we want to have a private void and then whatever kind of method we want. So this is still private void and accesses any method inside of our item class. Well, if we were to run this, we're going to see that we would just get the item created and the details for the item. Remember that these are separate, so we should actually just space these out a little bit more. But this item being 1 is going to get this first part right here. It's not going to get our logo anymore right here, because of the fact that if we look in our item, we can see it is a public void, and since it's a public void, it's not allowed to print. Now if we change this to public void, we can go ahead and run our main, and we are going to be able to see that our logo prints out perfectly fine. Now what if we want to change this again? So let's say we want to access a getter and a setter, right? Let's do a sysout, and we'll just do some spacing right here, and then appending to this we're going to do item.get, and we'll just get the item name, and let's try to run this. Well, we're not going to be able to print anything out. Oh shit. Well, we are able to print out our bread. Now it's public void, but let's say we just wanted to print out the variables like that. If we make it public string, you're going to see that it prints this out as well. Now there's a logo right here, but it doesn't print out item being 1, so it's just a little bit finicky in kind of how it works. So doing that, we can see we actually have this logo printed out and then our bread. So that's just something to note right there. Let's just try, instead of having it public string, let's just have it as a public like this. And if it's a public, we can run it again, and we're going to get an error right here. And I guess that's also because we need kind of like a type right here. So we would need like a void, we would need a string, we would need something like that. So if we just do public void like this, we have our super generic in there, and we run it again, we are going to be able to output what we want. So the item created, which is this, for our item being 1, and then we have our logo and this right here, and then we're also able to get our item name because it is a public type. So that's ways we can change and modify our XML in here, public, void, and then we can change whatever we want inside of here. And this is just to get any specific kind that we're looking at. to modify it, to change it, and to limit it. But that's it for configuring an aspect. Next, we're going to be looking at running, and that's it for running aspect-oriented programmings. That's it for running aspect-oriented programs. We're going to be looking more into this next video in the playlist link below the like button. We're specifically going to be working with point cut expressions.